Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to my presentation. Before I start, I want all of you to look at a picture I prepared. What do you see here in the picture?
Fish.
But do you notice anything special about the fish?
They're glowing. They're glowing.
Yes, they're glowing. Have you ever seen these kind of fish before?
No.
In your life? No? Well, what if I told you that these fish, you can actually raise them at home?
Wow.
You can actually own these fish. These fish, or more commonly known as glowfish, are the first genetically modified organisms to be sold on the market as household pets. And maybe that might give you an idea of what I want to talk about today. Today I want to talk about GMOs, shortened for genetically modified organisms. This is what you would call an organism whose genes have been changed through genetic engineering techniques. Through this, you can change the outer characteristics of this organism, or perhaps you can determine whether these changed genes will be passed on to next generations. GMOs have become a part of our society in many ways. Most of the food we eat nowadays has been genetically modified. Many scientists believe that it is safe to say that in the future, all the food we eat will have been tempered in some way. GMOs is also used to make plants grow more healthier and survive even in harsh conditions. And also, GMOs have been tested on animals. Maybe have any of you ever seen the picture of a rat with the ears sprouting out of its back?
Yeah.
So there's but people believe that the results of today's study of genetics are very absurd results, and they believe that these are just results of scientists fooling around in lab. However, people believe that if scientists take a more serious approach to the study of genetics, then maybe GMOs will come to affect us humans. And through this, I want to give you a few scenarios of the future, a future that many people will believe to come. Through the study of genetics, people believe that perhaps a few years from now, we will be leading much better lives. But because people are blinded by the possibility of a better future, they do not notice the fact that some of these actually pose threat to our society. So I will start by giving the first scenario in the future. This is the possibility of clones. Many people believe that in the future, we will be able to come up with the ability to duplicate people and have another one of us walking around somewhere in the world. So, Jiwon, let's say some scientist duplicated you and you have another person who looks just like you. And then you got sick and you needed an organ transplant. Would you take the organ from the duplicate?
No.
You wouldn't? Why not? Don't you want to live?
Okay.
So, right now, Jiwon his sense of morality was clashing with his will to live. In 2009, Cornell University succeeded in making the first genetically modified human embryo. And this caused an uproar in the scientific society because people thought that this had gone too far and that you should not be making humans in labs. In the end, they did not receive the permission to continue raising this embryo. This shows that people are not yet ready to accept the future of having people like them walking around and taking whatever they need from them, because it poses a threat on their sense of morality. The second scenario I want to talk about is about people leading perfect lives. Through the study of genetics, people believe that the diseases many people suffer from today, such as rare diseases or incurable diseases like leukemia and cancer, people believe that these will be curable in the future because of the study of genetics. However, even though today there have been some cures for some rare diseases, these cures are very, very expensive and only rich people can afford them. The sad part is rich people do not often be affected by these diseases. It's usually the middle class or people who are less privileged. So although people wonder if we have all these cures, will people who need them really be able to have access to these cures? So here we know that people don't want to be deprived. Therefore, this poses a threat on less privileged and creating an even larger gap between the rich and the poor. The rich lead healthy lives and the poor can just suffer from their illnesses. Another scenario I wanted to talk about is that in the future, many people believe that the study of genetics will open new businesses. Of course, there will be more opportunities for people in different scientific fields, but these are all legal professions. I wanted to talk about the illegal aspects. Although the government doesn't openly acknowledge it, we hear stories about children being abducted and having their organs taken away. Children come back dazed and confused, and when you take them to the hospital, you discover that they have a kidney missing. Although the government does its best to crack down on these kind of activities, people worry that in the future, when there are more people, more organs from the clones or genes or just wandering around, because even today, this sort of illegal activity goes on the internet. Do you know that on the internet there are sites where men offer to sell their sperms? Men offer to sell their sperms to people on the internet, where you do not know who's on the other end, and God knows what they might do with your sperms. These men just treat their sperms as parts to sell and parts to make profit out of. The government already has enough trouble trying to control the illegal trade of the black market. However, if this sort of activity continues onto the internet, they will have an even more difficult time because the internet is so vast and is more harder to control all the illegal activities. As I come to the end of my presentation, I wanted to end by asking all of you a question. I know each and every one of you wants to lead a long, healthy life. But to do this, to protect yourself and the loved ones, are you willing to cross the line? And with that question, I want to end my presentation. Thank you.
끝났잖아.
왜 갑자기 그렇게 됐지? 원래 그래? 그런 것 같아. 아까도 그랬잖아. 근데 이번엔 거의 다 끝났으니 다행이다.